this is Dancing Rabbit again, and yes, I do have more than one shirt, but I'm doing this whole month series of videos pretty much back to back so I can get it all done and make sure that I don't run out of time and don't get around to it. This week's question, first question, comes from Seeker X. What are your thoughts on using animal remains in pagan-themed art as well as ritual tools? What are your thoughts on working with the spirit or essence of what remains with the animal after death? Things to consider: lack of respect or respect for deceased animals, where they get the remains, whether roadkill from people who hunt but don't use the bones, hunting themselves, etc. Of course, laws protect, restrict collecting ownership of certain animals in certain countries and between states. My version of paganism doesn't particularly involve any animal sacrifices or blood sacrifice. There are paths such as Santeria that do animal sacrifices as part of their ritual. I think that it is probably a lot less bizarre or cruel than you might get the idea of from watching movies about it. Basically what happens is an animal like a live chicken is humanely, ritually killed, slaughtered. During the sacrifice, the blood is reserved, the animal is cleaned and cooked and eaten as part of the meal. So in one sense, it's not any worse than what my great-grandmother did most Sunday mornings when she went out and grabbed a chicken and prepared it for Sunday dinner. I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan. I have no problem with people who are, but I'm not. My tutelary deity, Cernunnos, is a hunter, and in ancient times part of his worship involved hunting rituals that were done before the tribe went out for the hunt. So I personally have no problem with humanely killing and eating animals. I've never been that much of a hunter myself. I went a few times when I was a little kid, but my dad really didn't have enough patience to put up with a squirmy, wiggly a kid to take on many hunts, so I just never got into that. I don't particularly think that it's wrong as long as it's done in a humane fashion. As far as animal remains, I have, this is a deer skull and antlers, and I have a couple of other antlers that basically were shed. Deer shed antlers once a year and then regrow them. I've got a set of goat horns that I traded for when I lived out in Llano, Texas. Now, I use these, one of them is going to become part of, I guess you'd call it a headdress, kind of a horned helmet that I'm working on making, and the others I sometimes use on the altar either to represent the horned god or particularly at Samhain, sort of the death aspect of things. I don't have any problem with animal skins, leather, fur being used for pouches or mojo bags or something like that. I have some of that myself. I don't use these animal remains, animal parts, products, because the essence or the soul or the spirit of the animal is in it. I think that whatever immaterial part of the animal returns to wherever those sorts of things return at death. I have made the practice when I have taken game myself, and I'm talking mainly about fishing, to be respectful and to thank the creature because my life depends on that life being given up. The charge of the god, one of the lines talks about, I am as near as the taste of salt on your tongue and the bones of your every meal. So that's how I feel about that. Okay, drop the papers. Obsessed 509, what is your opinion on past animal lives? Do you believe they can influence in your current life? I don't know. I don't really have an opinion. I at one time did some past life regression. This was not someone doing a past life reading for me, but this was somebody who knew what they were doing, regressing me into a past life. And it was one of the most vivid spiritual type experiences I've ever had. I have since decided not to pursue that sort of thing because I didn't in the end find it terribly useful. I mean, it was a cool, kind of strange experience to have, and it was, you know, fascinating, but I really couldn't find a practical use for it, so I haven't done anything like that in years. As far as animals, I have no particular belief that animals have a past life. You know, I don't know. I've never tried to regress any of my Basenjis who seem to be doing something in the bushes behind me. You know, it's possible, but I really have no knowledge or experience in that. If the questioner was intending to ask something about transmigration of the soul, the idea that after death, that some human spirits or souls end up in animals in the next life, and so presumably some of our animals that are running around here today might have been human in some past life, I honestly don't know. That is part of some of the schools of Hindu belief. It really is not part of my belief. I don't vehemently disbelieve it, but it's just not, you know, something that I believe. It may or may not be true. I just have no experience or evidence, or you know, it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the things that I believe. Okay, that was just 2 quick questions, so I've done a little bit quicker video today. So I'm going to stop it, do one last video, and then back inside to do some readings. Till next time, Dancing Rabbit wishing you and all yours, and the whole rest of the planet and all this other stuff, peace.